Welcome, everyone. We're going to call the Warren County Commissioners meeting of January 11th to order. If you please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance and then following a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First announcement is to announce that this meeting will be recorded, and also listing the executive session. Since last meeting we have had one. It had to do with personnel and the tax anticipation note. Correspondence, I don't believe we have any. Any public comment? Very good. So we're going to move the agenda around just a little bit and put the new business first, and then move through those items and then back to the consent agenda as we've moved through those items. So the first item under new business is to approve the Industrial Appraisal Agreement.
Move to approve.
All right, second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay.
I was just going to suggest that we move the MOU up in the order, just because we have members from the union here.
Sure.
I'm assuming here to witness that.
Okay. Very good. So we did have the first item on new business approved. Second item, as Jeff recommended, is the MOU, which you have in your packet.
This is an MOU regarding COVID pay.
Yes, this is an MOU regarding COVID pay of $1,000.
And it's above and beyond what the arbitrator ordered.
Yes.
However, out of sense of fairness and generosity, it's the position of the commissioners that we're proposing that we give the $1,000 COVID bonus to retired people that left the county's employment who were pension eligible. That's what date? Any time in 2022?
2022.
2022. Very good. I make that motion.
All right, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? All those signify in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. So second item under new business is assigning a company for reassessment. In your packet, you have a letter drafted, authored by our solicitor and Brian Bull. The suggestion is to choose Vision as the vendor of choice. So is there anyone interested in taking that recommendation, making a motion for it?
I'll move to accept Vision's proposal.
Okay,
I'll second.
all right. Any discussion?
So I just wanted the solicitor and or Brian to just explain
A little bit of the rationale.
rationale, especially since they were the lowest bidder technically.
You want to remain, doesn't matter.
Don't enjoy
Sure.
yourself. Take it.
I mean, just a minute. Not, yeah, nothing.
No, sure. I mean, the reassessment process is very, it's pretty expansive. I mean, as far as the scope of the project. Some of the things that we looked at, probably the biggest criteria that we looked at that separated the two of them was the ability to accomplish this reassessment project in a timely basis. Vision's already implementing a reassessment with people on the ground in Clarion County. They made statements that they have staff ready and available. The other vendor made it clear this would be basically be starting from scratch here, and this was a let's say an ambitious timeline that we set forward, that Brian and I had some more confidence about. I'd also say that we like Vision's, Vision presented a package that had a really good public relations concept. We think it's really important that the public understand what each step is going to entail. There's gonna be information and people to talk to all along the way. We've looked at what Vision's implemented in Clarion. We thought it was impressive. We also thought that Vision had a really good team dynamic during the presentations. We thought they were really good to work with. They were very responsive to even the more difficult questions we had. We just felt that we were going to get quality interaction with them and oversight, close oversight throughout the whole project. The cost was less than 1% different. So we didn't see that as a major distinguishing factor. If we had gone with Tyler, we would have been required to pay money for Tyler to acquire a license to use Vision's software to integrate the information we already have on our internal assessment office system with their programming. So we thought that was sort of an offset.
I will echo, when I listened to each one of the vendors in their presentation, I was more impressed with Vision and the ability that they had to wrap around the county employees and put forward an effort with and beside all of the assessment department as we take on this venture.
This is not to say anything negative about Tyler. I thought they had a very competent presentation. If they'd been the only ones to bid, I wouldn't have hesitated to work with them. As a matter of speaking, Tyler is publicly traded. This is a small matter for them at the Vision. This is going to be a much more meaningful, impactful project for them. I think we can expect them to put due attention onto this. Brian, is there anything you wanted to say? I mean, we had questions about making sure that the approach that they took from what I'm going to just call an expert standpoint in regard to how the assessments would be done, whether they would follow IAAO standards, whether they would follow USPAP standards. We had some intense discussions with each of them to make sure that they were going to integrate processes from the time that data is initially taken from going to properties here in the county, all the way through editing that information to beginning to compile, finding comparables, using depreciation curves, and developing neighborhood models was all going to be done in a diligent and competent manner. We were satisfied. We were satisfied with both, and again, what we're seeing is the Vision has been doing projects with counties of similar size. They're actively involved with in Clarion and Tioga County, and some of our due diligence did involve some reports that have been expressing satisfaction with how those are going so far.
Good.
Cool.
I would just say that I was initially supportive of the concept of the lowest bidder, and I would agree that after the presentations, they were convincing enough that I thought that the menu that Vision offered was a lot more complete, a lot more detailed. So definitely comfortable with the recommendation of the assessment office and the solicitor.
Any other comments? That being said, all those who are in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Now we're moving on to resolution 3236, postponement of delivery of tax duplicates.
Commissioner, just so we're clear, we've been presented a draft contract from Vision. I'm reviewing that, and then we'll have that. I would consider the vote as a notice to award, and then we'll have a contract for the county to sign and shore.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. So resolution 3236, postponement of delivery of tax duplicates, which we have done historically each year. It's very self-explanatory if you look at what's in your packet. Do I have a motion to approve Resolution 3236?
So moved.
Second. Okay, any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, and then next, we have the approval of millage rates. So we, as a commission and associated with our budget, we are going to hold the millage rates from 2022 to 2023 the same, which is 21.75. Does anyone want to make a motion to approve those millage rates for 21-23?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, and then the TAN, which is Resolution 3237, that we talked about this at the last meeting, and we had chosen Key Bank here as a recommendation from the fiscal director. So if you review that, and if you'd like to make a motion to approve that, that would be great.
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
all right, any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. And lastly, under new business is the Act 13 Bridge Fund request for Spring Creek. The amount that was requested from the Spring Creek Township Supervisors was $65,000. They're willing to put in their share of $10,000. This request came through, and Dan Glotz has stated that we do have funds available for this. The total that we currently have in the bridge fund is $79,500. So this probably would take up the majority of that, and I don't know that we'd have another project that could be funded in 2023. So
That's correct. There was one proposal that was ahead of this one that got dropped, so we kind of moved this one up in the line.
okay,
It is, having driven an ambulance over that bridge a few times, I think it desperately needs it.
okay. Can I have a motion to approve the Act 13 Bridge Fund request?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, let's move back up then to the consent agenda. If you review the minutes of December 28th and ask if there are any changes or modifications that are necessary, I did not find any myself. Hearing none, then we'll move on to the finance report. Lisa, will you share with us?
Sure. In the general fund, we have $1,419,087. In the Erie Bank savings, we have $1,246,246. I've also delineated what's in American Rescue Funding and ERAB, and the opioid funding is starting to roll in, which has $102,631. And the audit, I spoke with our auditor this week, and he was waiting on one more piece of information, and I think we should have our final within the next week or so. And I asked him to begin in March for the next audit so that we can have it complete by the end of summer.
I think that's a goal that we can meet.
Yeah, he agreed with me that.
Okay.
we
Because I think this has
Want to
been
make it
multiple years that we've had very delayed outcomes after the audit.
So we're gonna try to step that up to begin in March instead of July.
Okay. Sounds great. Very good. Thank you for that. Human Services report.
Human Resources report as of January 1st, 2023. New hires for the county include Tracy Rickard, effective 12/5/22, in the ID department as a caseworker 2, and Madeline Fetzik, effective 12/14/22, as a full-time corrections officer at the jail. Changes include Nicholas Cusivano, effective 12/30/22, who went from a full-time to a part-time corrections officer at the jail. And separations from the county include William Ashker, effective 12/2/22, in the CYS department as a caseworker 1. He is not pension eligible. Stacy Cassius, effective 12/6/22, in the ID department as a caseworker 2. She is not pension eligible. Matthew Nordine, effective 12/6/22. He was the Director of Maintenance and he is pension eligible. Dolores Steck, effective 12/6/22. She was the Director of Veterans Affairs and she is pension eligible.
Okay, thank you. And then just, quickly go through the monthly department reports. I really appreciate each department sharing a little bit with us about what's going on as far as their areas when it refers to the tax claim bureau and, number of receipts. Then also monthly report with registered voters and an update on each one of them by party affiliation as well as DPS. So some good data in there. I'm thinking maybe we want to, Lisa, talk about these in the, when we start the department head meetings. That would be great for departments to understand what's going on in other areas. There are 2 proclamations today. The first is School Choice Week in Warren County. Commissioner Eggleston, would you share that with us and just an overview for us, please?
School Choice Week in Warren County, whereas all children in Warren County should have access to the highest quality education possible. Warren County recognizes the important role that an effective education plays in preparing all students in Warren County to be successful adults. Quality education is critically important to the economic vitality of Warren County. Warren County is home to a multitude of high-quality public and non-public schools from which parents can choose for their children, in addition to families who educate their children in the home. Educational variety not only helps to diversify our economy, but also enhances the vibrancy of our community. Warren County has many high-quality teaching professionals in all types of school settings who are committed to educating our children. School Choice Week is celebrated across the country by millions of students, parents, educators, schools, and organizations to raise awareness of the need for effective educational opportunities. Now, therefore, be it resolved, we, the Commissioners of Warren County, proclaim the week of January 22nd as School Choice Week in Warren County.
Very good. And then other proclamation is PA 211 recognition. Commissioner Kaplan, would you share with us?
Sure. 211 is the Human Services comparison to 911. You have a non-emergency health and human services crisis, you can call 211, and based on your location and such, the 211 system will connect you with the services that you need. I think it started about in the year 2000, but in Warren County it didn't make its way to here until, I want to say, 2018 or so. And the United Fund of Warren County is the main funder of it. So we're, first of all, very appreciative to the United Fund for stepping up and funding that program. Second of all, please make people aware if they have a human services need that they can call 211. And finally, to the social service organizations, it's important to update your information in the 211 system so that callers can access your services.
Great.
With that, I would make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Okay, do I have a second?
A second.
All right, any discussion? All right, signify in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, I'm not seeing anything under old business. We've already finished new business, so under closing, are there any commissioner comments?
I just want to make one closing comment regarding the reassessment. It's simply this, when I first started studying reassessment 8 years ago, 9 years ago, it was very much uncertain at the time whether it was necessary. I think I've always had the perspective that it's not a black and gray issue. It's not like reassessment is or is not needed. We all know that it would be a good thing. The question for me for the last 8 years has been a question of cost, whether it was worth, you run the cost benefit analysis, and the question is, if you spend almost $2 million to get a reassessment, is that really worth it? But we know, of course, that there is a good that would come out of it, namely that the properties would all be equal. And I did not think that that was the case running the cost benefits analysis back in like 2016, 17. Somewhere around 18 or so, it started to become clearer and clearer to me as cases were getting lost, that we really could not justify the assessed values that we had. And it really cinched it for me in the last couple of years when we ran that analysis with Mr. Dornfest, and finally, with real statistical significance and information, I've completely swung to, let's say, if I was 80% against doing it 8 years ago, I'm only 20% against doing it now. So I'm fully in the yes category. It's time to do it. It needs to be done. We've now had the years to prepare for it and have appropriately set aside money to do it. I think that the study definitely showed, without question, that both vertically and horizontally reassessment needs to happen. We're doing a disservice to our community and our taxpayers by not doing it at this point. So with that, I just wanted to say my piece before it ended up in the newspaper that we kind of approved that notice of award without much discussion.
But, well, we've had quite a bit of discussion and evaluation, and I think that's really what we were trying to get behind, is the facts associated with the need for a reassessment, and from every angle, it's very clear. So, any other comments?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
There you go. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Don't even need that. Thank you, everyone.